Hi, in this video I'm going to show you some sequences I've shot with time-lapse using a slow shutter speed to add a little bit more movement into my time lapses. So let's run the intro and I'll see you in a bit. Hi, John Tisbury here. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about working with models, photography, cinematography, then subscribe now and hit that notification bell icon not to miss any new uploads as and when I upload them. So I'm hoping you can hear me okay here. There's a little bit of wind and I've got the mic on with the dead cat, which hopefully will cut out the wind noise, and it's not too distracting. So as I said in the intro, I'm here to do some time-lapse and using a slow shutter speed. So about a second and a half, something like that, to create a bit more movement into the time-lapse. And where I've got a lot of movement here in terms of people walking, there's a lot of cyclists running about, that will give a nice blur to the final time-lapse. So I'll show you those in a minute. In terms of the setup I've got here, I'm using the Sony A7iii. It's got the 24-70mm lens on it. It's also got on the front a Lee filter holder with a 6-stop neutral density filter. And that neutral density filter is really important to allow me to keep the shutter speeds low. Certainly on a day like this where it's really bright and sunny, it would normally be the f8 125 rule, and I want to get down to sort of a second so I can turn my ISO down, but I also want a fairly good depth of field. So to be able to do that, the neutral density filter helps keep the shutter speed low. And there's various types that you can use. I've got a 6-stop, a 4-stop and a 10-stop. And you can combine those as well if you need even more stopping power. So I'll show you those little clips in a minute. I've done sort of a few short 15-20 second clips and I'll montage those together. The unit I'm using is the iFootage, so it's the Shark Mini with the Moco app, which I've already covered in a previous video. So if you're interested in learning how that works and setting up the timeline control, if you click up here in the top corner, there's a link there to that particular video. There's a few others as well that I've covered on the Moco app, so I've covered that quite extensively. So if that's of interest, click up there. Hopefully these will come out okay. Thankfully there's lots of movement here. A couple of places we went to yesterday were devoid of people, and considering the conditions here, it's 20 degrees in early May or mid-May. We're in Rhyl in North Wales and it's actually very, very quiet. So yes, I was expecting a little bit more people, but we've come to a spot here where there's quite a bit of activity of people cycling and walking. So yeah. Right then, sign off for now and see you in a bit.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right in a way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always on.
Alright, so I've just finished the time-lapse on the bridge, which I shall show you in a minute. I had to run it twice actually. The first time I ran it with silent shutter, which I quite like to do. It doesn't disturb people that way. And for some reason it didn't trigger. I'm not too sure why. So it ran through the whole sequence of 400 frames, but didn't trigger the camera once. And I hadn't noticed till the end when I reviewed it. So top tip is to review before you move on, so it allowed me to shoot it again. I had to basically reset the camera, so I turned the camera off, took the battery out, turned everything off, reset it all up again. I also then turned the camera on to make turn off silent shutter so I could actually hear it clicking, and it worked okay that time, so I'm not too sure why the first time it didn't work, because the first time lapse I'd done this morning I'd used silent shutter and it was absolutely fine, so I shall keep my eye on that.
Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom.
Locations, and we're down in right by a reservoir at the moment. I'm just doing a time lapse here. Conditions have changed a bit actually. It's clouded over, very light high cloud, which has given a sort of overcast feel to it. Still quite bright with the odd hazy sun peeking through. A little bit more sheltered here, so a little less wind. And I'm just running a time lapse in the background on the bench behind me. You might be able to see, yeah, possibly. And again, slow shutter speed, 1 second, just to see how that looks with the water, helps smooth it out a little bit. And there's a couple of fishermen fishing for trout, so they may go across the viewfinder. Possibly not, out of view now looking at it. So yeah, take a few here. I'll probably put the drone up as well in a minute and have a look round. So I'm just sitting on the bench here while the time lapse is running away in the background. You may be able to hear it clicking away. So it's a short 400 frames which runs to about 16 seconds at 25 frames a second. I've done this again with a slow shutter speed, so it's on a second, what is it? Yes, a second duration shutter speed, so it'll be interesting to see how that looks on water. There's probably not a lot of movement out there, but there is a bit of wind ruffling the surface of the water, so we'll see what that looks like. I was saying earlier on about the neutral density filters, so these are the filters I'm using. I've got a 3 types. So I've got a 15 stop leaf filter, and then I've got a 10 stop, and I've got a 6 stop, which is currently on the front of the camera, and that allows you to slow the shutter speed down without worrying about too much light coming in, so you can go for a wide aperture if you want to, but still retain a slow shutter speed. So yeah, let this run and then we'll see what it looks like.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. The limit of love is endless, I know. Just do what you want with me. Yeah, I want it all. Could care less the cost. I give you my everything. Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom.
So I've just sent the drone up. Not too sure what's happening with the time lapse, because it, according to the app, it says it's on current frame 17 of 400. and it's not incrementing, and it's almost to the end of the track, so interesting. Just turn the drone off. Just sent that up for a little jaunt around. Turn that off. So I might as well stop this time lapse because it's not really sure what it's doing.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right in a way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know, and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Once you're pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Once you're pandemonium.